What is up, you guys? How my beautiful people doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dan, and this is probably the most important video I'm gonna film this year. It is my annual top 10 sunscreens. I filmed one last year. That top looks completely different this year. I'm looking at the sunscreens and there's a lot of new sunscreens in here. I'm gonna go straight into this. As you can see, I changed location. So unfortunately, in the short videos where I'm showing you how the sunscreens look like on my skin, the lighting is gonna be different because I changed location, so it's not gonna be that consistent, but it is what it is. So I hate when people are doing long introductions, so I'm gonna go straight into the video. We have a honorable mention. It's this Beauty of Joseon matte sun stick, and I love this one. It is actually matte. It's hard to find that in the sunscreen world. It is actually matte. If I have a very shiny sunscreen, I might use this one on top to dial down the shine. Great for reapplying. Alcohol-free, fragrance-free. It only has new generation filters, which I really appreciate. It's not long-lasting safe. Great price. The only downside of this one is that it might peel sometimes a little bit, and it's not the best for reapplying when you have a beard. If I somehow put it in my eyebrows, you are gonna see it there. So I don't recommend putting it there. Otherwise, it's the only sun stick I use, and I don't include it in the top just because this is not good as your main sun protection. This is good for reapplying. I wouldn't consider a sun stick a good only sunscreen. Does that make sense? I just don't think a sun stick, no matter how good it is, I don't think it provides reliable protection on its own. Now into the actual top 10. By the way, I forgot to mention, follow me on Instagram. I am very active on Instagram. I got a lot of new followers in there, so I'm kind of like prioritizing Instagram. I'm posting a lot of new stuff on my stories that you're not gonna see here, or you're gonna see here on YouTube, but after a while. So yeah, a lot of new discoveries in there. I'm gonna start my top 10 with these two sunscreens from La Roche-Posay. These ones were on the second place last year, but unfortunately the high amount of alcohol and the old generation filters are not good for my skin. I noticed I cannot really wear this one a couple of days in a row just because of the high amount of alcohol. And it has amazing new generation filters, including the Mextrol 400, which is one of the best on the market. It does provide ultra long UVA protection, which we don't really have in other sunscreens. So that's amazing, but unfortunately they have a lot of old generation filters, which my skin doesn't really like, especially octisalate. My skin hates octisalate, and that's pretty high up in the ingredient list in these sunscreens. Very high UVA protection. I think this one has UVA protection of 56, which is one of the highest in the market. But I cannot really wear them a couple of days in a row, so like, what's the point? I really wish they would stick to only new generation filters, or at least dial down on the old generation filters, UV filters, because yeah, I noticed lately my skin really doesn't like octisalate. It gives me allergies, rashes, so otherwise, if you can tolerate this one every day, I would advise you to stick with these just because they're so incredibly powerful. These are also long-lasting safe, which is very hard to find in the sunscreen world. It is mind-blowing to me. It was quiet all day long, basically. And now, right when I started filming, they started doing like construction or something. So yeah, overall, very high protection, very water resistant. Amazing options, just not for everyone, especially people with sensitive skin. Now, number 9, we have the Skin Aqua, and I lost the bottle for this one, unfortunately. In the process of moving, I looked everywhere and I cannot find it anymore. This is a very good option, but it is on the 9th place because it has alcohol, pretty high up on the ingredient list. It has one old generation filters. It has a lot of new ones, but it has one old generation filter, so I am taking a point for that, and it is kind of shiny, I would say. Otherwise, it's good. It's fragrance-free. It offers you 140 mLs of product, and this one was pretty inexpensive, so very cost-effective. I like that. And yeah, it's not long-lasting safe, unfortunately, but it spreads really nicely on the skin. Very lightweight. It just feels like a thick water, and it feels refreshing. Even though it has one old generation filter, it doesn't irritate my skin, and it has some alcohol, but still doesn't irritate my skin, this one. But because of those, it's on the 9th place. By the way, I forgot to mention, this one is water resistant, which, considering the texture, this is one of the most elegant water resistant sunscreens I've ever tried. It just feels like it's not water resistant, but it is. So I like that about it, and that's why it made the top, even though it has old generation filters and alcohol. Because it's so lightweight and elegant, being a water resistant sunscreen, I decided to include it in the top. And yeah, give it a shot, it's really nice. Next I have the SVR Extreme Sun Secure Gel Ultra Matte Sunscreen, and I keep including this one just because this is the most matte sunscreen I've tried, and it's almost impossible to find matte sunscreens, but this one it is actually matte. It has no alcohol, it's water resistant, matte and water resistant. What a combination, right? It only has new generation filters, which you guys know I really appreciate, but this one is on the 8th place just because the fragrance is so strong. They really need to dial down that fragrance. It lingers for hours. If you like the fragrance, then of course you are gonna like this one, but not everybody likes that, and people have fragrance allergies. So because of that, it's on the 8th place, and also because some people don't like this silicone feel that this one has. It feels silicone. Some people find it greasy. Some people find it just, they don't like it, basically. I really like how silicone feels though. They feel smooth, they feel velvety, but I know some people don't like that feeling. So that's another reason why this is on the 8th place. I think some people find it suffocating for some reason. I like it. I keep rebuying it just because it's so matte. So on occasions when I need a matte skin, this is my go-to. It blurs your pores a little bit. Yeah, it is a nice option, but has some downsides. In the 7th place, we have this Korean option, Abib Heartleaf Sunscreen Calming Drop SPF 50+ PA++++. Only new generation filters in this one. It's fragrance free. It spreads. It's amazing. It's very fluidy. It spreads really nicely and easily on the skin. Feels very lightweight. It's not too shiny. It's one of the least shiny options on this list, actually. But it is on the 7th place just because it's not water resistant, and it has a pretty good amount of alcohol, which we know not everybody likes that, especially people with dry skin. They tend to avoid alcohol. It's also not fungal acne safe, but I kind of gave up on the fungal acne safe criteria when it comes to sunscreens just because it's already so hard to find a good sunscreen. If I include the fungal acne safe criteria, then we'll have no options, unfortunately. But I will mention each time a sunscreen is fungal acne safe because that's important for some people. And yeah, besides that, a pretty good option. It's very inexpensive. I bought it on iHerb, one of the least expensive sunscreen on this list. I'm going to put all the links down below. You guys check it out. And next we have this Skin Aqua UV Super Moisture Milk, which is basically the Abib, but better. It's water resistant, unlike Abib, and it doesn't have any alcohol. They did get this fluidy texture. Fluidy texture is thanks to the volatile silicones in this one. It's even nicer to apply this one. It feels just so lightweight. These volatile silicones, they evaporate while you're applying the sunscreen, and it's even more matte than the Abib, I would say. And yeah, it's water resistant. I can't believe such an elegant demi-matte sunscreen is actually water resistant. It's mind-blowing to me. A very nice option. I think it is fungal acne safe. I found conflicting informations here and there just because it's a Japanese sunscreen and the ingredient lists are different depending on where you're finding it, but it is one of the most elegant options. Not very hydrating, but for people with oily skin like me. When I use this one, I tend to not apply any skincare underneath just because I feel like this one looks the best applied on its own. Otherwise, by the way, you have to shake it before applying it. Otherwise, I feel like it dries down slower. It just feels a little bit more shiny. This one works best when applied on its own because of those volatile silicones. Yeah, and the only reason this one is on the 5th place or 6th place is because it has an old generation filter. It's not only new generation. If this had only new generation filters, this would have been top 3, definitely. But besides that, no complaints. Amazing option. It is a little bit tiny though. That's also another complaint. It's a little bit tiny. It's 40 ml only. Come on, guys. We need 1.25 ml. It's gonna last you for less than a month if you don't reapply. And now we are entering top 5 territory. On the 5th place, I have this iUnique Centella Calming Daily Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA+++++. This is amazing. It is fragrance-free, alcohol-free, only new generation filters. It has beneficial ingredients like centella, niacinamide. It feels amazing. It feels like a really nice moisturizer, very elegant. Doesn't irritate my skin. It actually calms it down. It is inexpensive. I bought this one on iHerb for like $12, $13, and you get 60 mls, unlike 50 mls with many other sunscreens. The reason this one is on the 5th place is because it's not water resistant, and because it's a little bit too moisturizing for oily skin. It's still gonna work for a wide variety of skin types, but for very oily skin it might feel a little bit too moisturizing, especially in the summer. I still love this one though. It's an amazing option. And here is where the 4th place comes into play. This one is basically the iUnique sunscreen, but more lightweight. This is the Centella, this is the Skin 1004 Hyalogica Water Fit Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA++++. These names are killing me. This is, even though it's in the 4th place, this is my most used sunscreen. It is amazing, so fluidy, so lightweight. It applies like a dream. It gives you a nice glow, but not too much. This might give me a little bit, just a tiny bit more, the iUnique one. The Skin 1004, it gives me the right amount of glow. Some people might still consider it shiny, I would say, but it just makes your skin look so nice and healthy and glowy. It has Tilsorb M, which kind of disguises my pores a little bit, makes my blackheads less noticeable for some reason. It just makes my skin look better. I don't know what they put in this one, but it just makes my skin look better. Besides that, again, fragrance and alcohol free, only new generation filters, a lot of beneficial ingredients, centella, niacinamide. Amazing. Again, not water resistant though, so I mostly use this one for like 6 months. Winter, early spring, late fall, but I don't really use it in the summer. In the summer, I might use this one as a first layer of sunscreen, then I would apply another layer of water-resistant sunscreen, and that way I am 100% sure I'm very protected. Yeah, my most repurchased sunscreen, my most used sunscreen, it just feels like a really nice lightweight moisturizer. It is that amazing. It's still not too pricey. It's a little bit more expensive than the iUnique one, but I think it's worth the price. Really, really love this one. 3rd place, I had to choose between these 3 sunscreens. I did film an additional video, a separate video about these. I still haven't edited it though, so I'm gonna post it soon, but you gotta find the video comparing these. But in the end, I chose the Hyperpigmentation Defense one from P20, Riemann P20. Now this sunscreen has an amazing UVA protection, above 60, which is incredible. It is 3 times higher than your normal Korean sunscreen, which offers a UVA protection of around 20. Yeah, you cannot really find anything like that on the market, especially considering how elegant this one is. It's not as elegant as a Korean sunscreen, let's say, but considering the UVA protection is 60, above 60, it's really, really good. I don't know how they did it. It's also water resistant. So we have only new generation filters in this one. It's water resistant. It protects up to 10 hours, and I like that P20, they're doing additional testing to actually back up that claim. I would still advise you to reapply this one every 3, 4, maybe 5 hours if you are in high exposure environments. But if you hate reapplying like me, get this one. Or the first option, or the first place, that's also a good one. Fragrance and alcohol free. They did include some additional ingredients to actually fight hyperpigmentation. I wouldn't say they're groundbreaking, but they've done actually some testing on people with hyperpigmentation, and they noticed a reduction in that. I mean, you are gonna notice reduction mostly thanks to the very high UVA protection in this one, rather than the additional anti-hyperpigmentation ingredients, but it's nice that they are in there. Yeah, the only reason this one is on the 3rd place is the price. It's 25 euros, 30 euros in some places. Currently in Romania, I can find this one for like 18 euros or 19 euros, which is amazing. but it is the most expensive sunscreen in this entire list, considering you get only 50 mls though. There is a more expensive one, but that gives you 200 mls. Amazing, amazing option. It is a little bit shiny. Well, it is shiny, but I mean, UVA protection of 60, up to 10-hour protection, and water resistant. It is gonna be shiny. You cannot. Currently, we don't have the technology to have a matte sunscreen with a UVA protection above 60. So, on the second place, we have the best tinted sunscreen I've ever tried. This is the Intermed Luxurious Sun Care SPF 50 Plus. Fragrance-free, alcohol-free. It has kind of like a mousse texture. It spreads really nicely on the skin. It has a high amount of silicones, which gives it this nice velvety feel, really nice spreadability. It's not as silicone as the SVR though, so if you are afraid of silicones, you might still give this one a shot. It makes my skin look so good. It's not shiny. If I use this one on its own, it's actually matte, which is amazing for a sunscreen. It suits my skin tone. It covers some small imperfections. It covers my blackheads. It doesn't look makeupy. I think even guys can use this one who are not into it. It just gives you a really, really light coverage. Finally, a sunscreen that actually suits my skin tone. Most of them are too orange on me or too dark. Or this one is the natural beige, but they do have another tint. It's more suited for people with more a darker skin tone. I think it's called golden or something. And also the price. This sunscreen is €7, €8. For a good tinted sunscreens, I tend to be very expensive, by the way. And this one is the best tinted sunscreen, and it's also €7-8. And you also get 75 mls, which is much more than most sunscreens. You cannot beat this. You cannot beat it. The only reason this one is on the second place is because it has one old generation filter. It has some new ones, but it has that one. So I had to deduct a point for that. And it might set a little bit into wrinkles. A tiny bit. But you cannot really top this one, especially when it comes to tinted sunscreens. Amazing. And on top of everything, it's foam locking safe. So yeah, it was this close to getting on the first place. If this didn't have that old generation filter, it would have been on the first place, definitely. I think it's octinoxide though, which is not the worst. Also, actually, another downside, I guess, it's a Greek brand, so it's not that easy to find. Scroots though, they deliver throughout the most European countries, so I'll leave a link down below. And by the way, speaking of links, some of them give me some commissions, so if you guys purchase through them, I would really appreciate. You might get a discount with some of them, but you are never gonna pay more. So you're never gonna pay more than the actual price. I just get some commissions out of those links. So if you guys purchase through them, I really appreciate it. Yeah, give this one a shot. And on the first place, it is actually last year's winner. Again, you cannot really beat this one. This is the Raymond P20 Sensitive Skin 200 ml of product. So again, fragrance and alcohol free, only new generation filters, protects up to 10 hours, very water resistant. What makes this one the first place and not the Raymond P20 Hyperpigmentation Defense is the fact that this one is around €30 for 200 ml, which makes it €7-8 for 50 ml, which is how much this one is. And most sunscreens, they do offer only 50 ml. So it's much more cost effective. That makes it one of the least expensive option, if not the least expensive actually, on this entire list. That's what makes this one the first place for me. It's gonna be cost effective. You are gonna apply the right amount just because it's cost effective. So you don't, like with this one, you might be like, maybe I should apply only 1 pump instead of 2 just because it's so expensive. And also this one, the big bottle offers, it's very water resistant, which means after 80 minutes, this sunscreen still offers the exact same SPF, SPF 50 plus. The Hyperpigmentation Defense offers only 40 minutes. Well, it's still a lot. I mean, after 40 minutes in water, the SPF is the same. but the big bottle offers 80 minutes, double that. So that's another reason why this one is on the first place and not the Hyperpigmentation Defense. With that being said though, Hyperpigmentation Defense offers you UVA protection of 60, sensitive skin. The big bottle offers you UVA above 40. So a little bit, if you want top-notch, the highest UVA protection, go with Hyperpigmentation Defense, and if you don't care about how much it is. But otherwise, P20 sensitive skin is the winner of this top. It is gonna be not as elegant though as the Hyperpigmentation Defense, just because of the water resistance. It's higher, they made it a little bit thicker, they stick a little bit more to the skin. But I've been using this one like crazy, especially in vacations. Love applying it on my body. It's not sticky. I never get a tan with it. Even if I forget to reapply, they do offer that 10-hour protection claim, which I tend to think it's true. Yeah, and one pump of this gives you the right amount for your face. So you need 2 pumps with the Hyperpigmentation Defense, by the way. Okay, that's my top, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope you find it helpful. If you did so, give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. It shows the video to many people. Comment something down below. Comment your favorite sunscreen. Let me know if you tried any of these. What do you think about them? Do you agree with this list? Maybe, well, I guess for different people, the list would look different. They would like change things here and there because we're all different and we have different skin types and different needs. But my go-to is Skin 1004 for the winter, my most used one, and the Riemann P20 sensitive skin for the summer. By the way, this one is not from Walking Stick, just had to mention that. I don't use it every day. I don't go out every day, so there's no need, but and you have to really do a good job when it comes to cleansing for this one, because it's so high protection and it's so it sticks, adheres to your skin so strongly. Okay, love you all guys. See you in my next video. Bye.